Hi Amy, it's
Hi,
good to see you
Danielle.
at Chalk Valley. What are you speaking about this year?
This year I have been talking about my most recent book, Wild, Tales from Early Medieval Britain, thinking about, I think it's quite nice in this setting, which is quite wild in its own way, to think about how the landscape and how the wilderness was perceived by early medieval people, especially thinkers and poets and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and this isn't your first time at Chalk Valley, is it?
No, I came last year to talk about Storyland, my first book. It's a real pleasure to be back and to see how it's kind of developing and to soak up the atmosphere again.
Yeah, how do you find the atmosphere here with the people that are coming in and talking and listening to you speak? How do you feel about it?
I really enjoy the clear curiosity that everybody shares here, whether they are speaking or whether they're in the audience or whether they're demonstrating a craft. There's a kind of shared zeal for the past and for kind of discovering things about the past, and not in a kind of prescribed, the story is fixed sort of way, but in a way that allows for questions and mystery. And it's just it's a very inspiring atmosphere.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And when you're walking around the site, what are some of the favorite things that you've stopped and seen?
I love, and I always have loved, the craft aspect of any kind of festival like this, but especially Chalk Valley. I think the idea to move the blacksmiths and the fletcher and the stonemason to right at the front, so that when you walk in, that's the first thing you see. I think that's just inspired, and I think it really shows that history is so much about the changes that we see through history and in civilization, whatever it might be, is so often driven by technology and by what humans have achieved with their hands and with their ingenuity. And so having that kind of that practical dimension front and center is, I think, really a really important message to kind of open the festival with for people who are just arriving, and then to go from there into the more theoretical element of the talks and the presentations and the like.
Yeah.
So a bit later, I'm going to be doing a talk with the stonemason Andrew Zeminski, all about the power of stone. And he has many years' experience working on the conservation of medieval stone buildings, a lot of parish churches, that sort of thing. So he's going to be bringing his kind of practical stonemason's perspective on what stone meant in the Middle Ages, and I'm looking forward to talking about the other dimensions of stones, of how stone was. The idea of stone, the idea of the Romanitas of stone and that kind of thing. So I think there's a lot of scope as well for the theoretical and the practical to collide, and for there to be really fruitful conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Bring together the practical and the mythological, which is what you do.
Yes.
Something that happens here, and maybe not as well in other places, is the place to be.
For sure.